Hello and welcome to a mid-basho review of Kinboshi Radio. Sadly, Nick cannot join me today. I'm flying solo. I actually tried to get Phil to do this with me, and the audio got so messed up that I'm doing this again. So cool. But it doesn't matter because the basho is great. But before I go any further, I do want to say this is going to be talking about the Kyushu Basho after Day 7. If you have not seen the Day 7 matches yet and do not want to be spoiled, go ahead and hit pause, bookmark the video, come back to it, but let yourself enjoy those matches first and then come talk about this because, wait for it, 3, 2, 1, okay, spoiler people are gone. This has been a spectacular basho until today. Hoshoryu running out the gates, going 6-0, looking like he was really gonna do this. Now, slight setback today. So all of a sudden, we have 4 contenders all tied at 6-1. Kotozakura and Hoshoryu, the 2 Ozeki, which is, as to be expected. But what wasn't to be expected is the fact that they both picked up an L. And then behind them, Takanosho, what a shock, actually bouncing back from an abysmal basho last time, but in July having a Jun Yusho. So whatever this yo-yo stuff is for Takanosho, he's kind of like doing Tokiwayama proud now that Takakeisho is gone. He is the big dog for that whole stable. So very excited to see that. And then disappointing to me for my fantasy sumo team perspective, Onokatsu, who I drafted last time and then moved away from this time thinking he wasn't the real deal, but he blitzed out of the gate, running off 6 wins as well. But now he is 6-1 as well, including he had a win against Takeru Fuji, which maybe that Takeru Fuji stepped out, whatever. Doesn't matter. He got the W. So these 4 guys up there, and we obviously have 2 favorites and then 2 outsiders. But interestingly, 2 guys that Onosato, has to have been the favorite going into this, and he's 5-2 right now. And he picked up losses to 2 outsiders, 2 guys who are not in the Sanyaku, Wakataka Kage, who a lot of us had as a major pick to contend for this Yusho going into this tournament. But also, I gotta shout out to my boy Nick, Abi, the ultimate assassin, is in there, and he picked off Onosato as well. So that's an outside contender, and we're coming back to Abi in a second. But also, Takeru Fuji has picked up 2 L's. We talked about Onokatsu being one of them, but he also lost to Shonan Noumi. So it might just be that he's not all the way back from that injury, or it might just be that his last Yusho was truly a bit of magic. Obviously, we still expect good things from the guy. Obviously, he's still in contention for this. So those are not things that we're worried about not happening anymore. But it is really interesting to have him at 5-2 and Onokatsu be at 6-1. We knew someone was going to feast on those lower ranked Maigashiras this time. So far, they're both equally contending for it, but Onokatsu kind of has the edge over Takeru Fuji, especially with the heads-up victory. But what I really wanted to talk about, and what I think that I really want to get your guys' opinions on, and Nick too, if he can hop in the comments, Abi, the ultimate assassin, has returned. Now, he's 5-2, so he is actually an outside contender to win this Yusho, which is bananas, considering the slate he's fought so far. Let me just turn to my computer and read this all off to you. Abi, day 1, lost to Wakamoto Haru. That's fine. In fact, that's kind of what I expected from him, right? Is to not quite be beating these guys who were Sanyaku and stuff like that. So loses to Komusubi. But then, Shodai, victory. Okay, yeah, so 1-1 against the Komusubis. Then Kirishima. Now, Kirishima having an abysmal tournament. That's probably the biggest surprise for me personally, because obviously I picked him to win this thing. I have no idea what's happening. If anyone knows what's happening to Kirishima, let me know. But regardless, for Abi, that's another tally for the assassin. He's taken out a Sekiwake. After that, big win, Onosato. We already touched on that. Huge, taking out the Ozeki. Then he beats Churanoumi, who, that's a Maegashira, so whatever. But, this is a guy who's got a couple 10-win bashos under his belt. The Okinawan has really looked good this year, so it's a very respectable win, albeit one that Abi should be able to get. Then he picks up an L to Kotozakura. Again, whatever, understandable, although after last basho, I kind of expected Abi to get that one. And finally, today, he takes on Hoshoryu, the undefeated Ozeki leader. At the time, he was the last undefeated, because Onokatsu had lost earlier in the day, whatever. But then Abi knocks him off as well. So, of the 3 Ozeki he's fought, he's taken out Hoshoryu and Onosato and lost to Kotozakura. He's fought 2 Komusubis and gone 1-1 against them. He's beaten a Sekiwake. Basically, all Abi has to do now is fight Daisho. And if he can beat Daisho, that's a 50-50 match. Those guys have fought each other so many times. I don't know what's going to happen in that match, but Abi can easily win that. But after getting through Daisho, my man has nothing but Maegashiras. And we've seen what happens in the past. Like, yes, Abi's one-dimensional, but generally it's these higher-ranked Sanyakus who are the ones who have the tools to deal with how good he is at that one thing he does. Arms stretched out, Tsupari. If he gets you off balance, go for the hot takikomi or use his elite lateral speed on the edges of the dohyo to make sure that he can get into an advantageous position to push you down or out. So, like, I don't know. I think Abi is actually in the running to win this thing, and it blows my mind. I think that this guy, is he underrated? What do you guys think? Because I know Abi is absolutely hated in the English-speaking sumo world. Nick is standing there flying the Abi flag pretty much by himself, at least in our sumo friend group. But I can't help but love this. This is actually exactly what Nick predicted as well, is saying like, hey, I'm just waiting for him to drop out of Sanyaku. He gets kind of beat up in Sanyaku, but as soon as he can get some momentum behind him, as soon as he can be, there's actually a really cool quote that Tamawashi gave the last time after he made Komusubi. He said, I don't actually like being Sanyaku. I like doing the chasing. I don't like being chased. So maybe psychologically there's something in it too for the bad boy of sumo, that he really likes the idea that he can go and ruin a Sanyaku's day, ruin an Onosato's day, shut off Hoshoryu's winning streak and his sole share of the leadership. I think that what we're seeing from Abi is exactly why we like sumo. Nick and I have talked before, you gotta have villains in a sport. And Abi, by all accounts, is a villain, which is hilarious because he's actually, by all reports and in interviews, he's a very nice guy, but you need to have a villain in a sport, and that's exactly what Abi is. So he's got to be the dark horse for the second half to win this thing. What do you guys think? Do you think Abi can actually get this done? He's only one win off the lead. He's fought all the big guys. The Ozekis still have to fight each other and beat each other up, so that could drag them down, give him a chance to hop over and maybe win in a playoff. Do you think that Abi can actually get this one done? Or do you think it's more likely that a Hoshoryu, a Kotozakura, or an Onosato catching back up can do it? Or do you like one of the other outsiders like Takanosho or the new young guy Onokatsu down at the bottom, or any of the number of 5 and 2s we have? I'm very curious to hear that. Other than that, quick Juryo rundown. Aonishiki does look like the real deal, but we are seeing him slow down a bit. So he picked up his second L today. His previous L to Oshoumi was a brutal match. Like, it was such good sumo. If Jason Sumo or anyone puts that up as like a replay, try to watch that if you can, because it was awesome. And he lost a really tough match there. But now he lost again, a match he shouldn't have won. I can't even remember who he fought against. Or he lost a match he shouldn't have lost today, in my opinion. Can't quite remember who it was. But he still looks like the real deal. I'd like to see him and Shishi both fighting in the high Juryos and see what they can do. But also down in Juryo, Kinbo-zan is mad, you guys. Like, whatever laziness that his coach was calling out of him in Makuuchi, the guy down in Juryo came out 4-0 just like pissed. He does not want to be there. And it's kind of awesome to see. This is the Kinbo-zan I think we all thought we were going to get when he got first promoted to Makuuchi. So I hope that he can keep this up and keep that anger up once he gets back to Makuuchi, because that guy's a physical monster. So we could see something huge from him once he actually comes up. Those are sort of the two storylines that I've been focusing on the most down in Juryo, although it's looked really good this time. Some exciting guys. Kaio looked pretty good to start, kind of slowed down. Nabatame has had some really good matches. Tons of stuff to watch down there. But beside those, I just want to know how you guys liking the Basho, who you got for your pick to win this, because we have some big dogs, some outsiders, and some outsiders, Team Abi. But who do you think is going to win this, and who do you think can turn around this abysmal Basho to maybe, if not contend for a Yusho, at least get in there for a special prize? Either way, thanks for listening. I'm loving this Basho, so can't wait to watch some more of it. Talk to you soon.